Good afternoon, everyone. I can see we have a few people still ticking in, and we're just going to leave it for a minute or two for everyone to arrive. All right, Flavia, I think we should start now. I can see that we have a lot of people already attending.
Yeah.
We are going to record the webinar as well, so in case you're missing the first few minutes, it will be available tomorrow.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Flavie Baudot from European Cities Marketing, and together with Sophie Jensen from ETOA, we're going to lead you through this webinar this afternoon. ECM is the network of DMOs in Europe. We have more than 115 members throughout 38 countries. And we are happy to work with ETOA, I think, since about 15 years or something like that. So very strong cooperation. We are united together in business via City Fair that is going to take place this year on the 9th of June in a virtual format. And we also, keep in touch regularly and do some common activities. Last year, we had a joint position, for an open and permanent dialogue between the local destinations and the European institutions, for example. So we are more than happy today to put together some destinations and some tour operators to discuss together on how to rebuild tourism.
Yes, thank you very much, Flavien. Just a quick note from me. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending, both panelists and attendees. As Flavie said, I am Sophie Jensen from ETOA, the European Tourism Association. We are a travel trade membership association of 1,100 organizations throughout the world doing tourism in Europe. So that is global and European tour operators, as well as European suppliers, destinations, and also travel tech companies, consultancies, and so forth. Everyone doing tourism in Europe, and we're happy to work with. So today we will discuss how city tourism can be rebuilt stronger and better than it was pre-COVID. We think that the dialogue between operators and destination, that is a way to do that. So this is why today we have put this panel up for that discussion to continue.
Yeah.
We have four panelists today. We have Pier Giorgio Pisano from Globus, Family of Brands. We have Tim Sayer from Expat Explore Travel. You'll get an opportunity to introduce yourself as well. We have Sabine Svans from Madrid Destino, and we have Inge Marsboom from Visit Antwerp. So first, we would like to give the operators a little opportunity to introduce yourself, and afterwards we will go to the destinations. So Pier Giorgio, would you like to start to just say a little bit about Cosmos Globus Family of Brands?
Hi, Sophie, and hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today. I'll share my screen. I'm Pier Giorgio Pisano, the contracting manager at Globus Family of Brands. He's a tour operator based in Switzerland, established more than 90 years ago. And our clientele is mainly coming from US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Amongst the various brands we have, there's Globus, Cosmos, Monograms, and Avalon. Globus and Cosmos are both doing escorted tours throughout Europe. Monogram is a product for what we call assisted FIT, and Avalon is for river cruising. Together with my team, I'm responsible for the selection and negotiation of suppliers like restaurants, excursion providers, local guide, DMC, venues, attractions, as well as dealing with the tourist board. Regarding Globus, it's a brand dedicated to people that want to explore the world. And here in Lugano, we are responsible for Europe. And the itineraries are first-class touring and are featuring a lot of the must-see sites, but also of the beaten path experiences. When you travel on a Globus tour, there's always a tour director escorting the group, and many excursion activities are included in the programs. With Globus, we do select 4-star centrally located hotels. Cosmos is the other brand, also doing escorted tours throughout the world. And in this case, we selected 3-star or 4-star, not necessarily centrally located. Therefore, we can look towards a more budget-friendly price point for our products. Monograms, as I said before, is a product for FIT, assisted FIT clients. It's a combination of multiple packages throughout the main cities in Europe, like London, Paris, Florence, Venice, for instance, to mention some of them. And clients can really combine them with a multiple overnight stay, as well as with the selection of the hotels and the presence of a local host at each destination that is there to help the clients. When you travel with monograms, you always get a transfer by train first class. Last but not the least, it's Avalon Waterways, that is our river cruise company, offering a very wide selection of top class river cruising, mainly in Europe, but also in Asia and South America. Avalon is not only special because of the quality of the services on board, but also famous on the market because of the layout of the cabins. As the ships have been built, especially for us, we were able to modify the layout. So the beds are looking towards the outside instead of a wall, and thanks to a glass window from ceiling to the floor, the entire cabin can become an open air balcony. I've just tried to summarize in just few slides our product, but I invite you to look at our website and to eventually ask me more questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that introduction. That was very helpful. One question I just have before we move to Tim's presentation about Expert Explore is how is demand looking for you in this year and also 2023? What are you seeing from your clients? Are they coming back, or are we still seeing a little wait for that to happen?
Yes, certainly the past 2 years have been very difficult for everyone, including us, because working with American and Australian clients wasn't that easy to have them coming over to Europe, especially. But since 2021, we restarted the operation, and past winter has been very successful with our Globus Escape. And from the current trend, the trend is still very positive for 2022 and even more for 2023. Obviously, the current crisis with Ukraine, Russia might affect in the near future, but still we haven't noticed any big consequence due to that. So we remain very, very positive already for 2022 booking trend.
That sounds very good. And how about the demand for products? Do you feel like is that the same as it was in 2019, or are people looking for something else?
It's a mix of both things, I have to say, because thanks to COVID, we had the chance to really look into every single itinerary and to launch new product lines. Like Globus Choice Touring, for instance, a selection of itineraries that includes everything, and even clients can choose by amongst multiple excursions. So I do think that for clients nowadays it is more important to not to tick off the list of the places they have visited, but rather of the things they have done or they will do during their holiday. So certainly the must-see sites are still very attractive, and might be also a key factor, a decision factor for people to book an holiday, but certainly less known destinations are very appealing, and a good combination of the two things is a must.
That's good to hear, and I think that's obviously what we're going to talk about a lot today. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. Go further. Before that, Tim, would you like to say a little bit about Expat Explore? What product demand you're seeing and your clientele and so forth?
Yes, certainly. Well, thank you very much, Sophie, and thank you, Flavie. And I've got a follow on from Pier Giorgio, so thanks very much. That's quite a presentation. I was very impressed. I've got no slides for you today, but I'd like to tell you a little bit about Expat Explore. So we are a tour operator. So our main business is coach tour operations, but we do have other products as well, both with rail, our new Rail Rocker brand, which are operating train tours, which we started up during the COVID pandemic, and also some cruises as well. My name is Tim. I'm product developer for Expat Explore, but I've also done tour leading and operations for the company as well. We're based in London, and we have a lot of clients traveling from all over the world. Pre-pandemic, we would have had probably about 150 different nationalities travel with us in any one year, but at the moment, our main client bases are coming from the US and Canada, but we are seeing our Australian and Asian clients starting to return, with stronger return of sort of our Malaysian and Filipino clients in the next few months. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. Trends we're seeing at the moment, I'd say we are seeing that 2022 is going to be a strong year for us. It's certainly going to be much better than 2020 and 2021. And also 2023 is going to be a sort of a record year in our books. One positive trend I have seen over the past few weeks is we're having some bookings actually moving backwards. So bookings that were made for 2023 actually cancelling and booking onto 2022 departures, which I think is quite a positive sign that people are willing to travel and willing to get back out there. So that's, yeah, a little bit about what we do. Yeah, but I'm willing to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much, Tim. And I think what you just mentioned there, yeah, please feel free to ask questions. We both have a Q&A and also a chat box. So ask any questions there. We have received, I think, about 100 questions from the audience before the webinar. We will not be able to go through all of them, of course. Then we would sit here for quite a few hours, and we would try to finish this within the hour. But we have a few main topics that we will go through. A lot of the questions are similar, so I think we will stick with those topics. Flavie, so over to you and a bit from our destinations.
Yes, thank you very much, Sophie. Now we have two different but also innovative and bright destinations on board, meaning Antwerp and Madrid. Now we will take a little time to know about each of them. What are their market products? What are the challenges at the moment? Just in a few minutes, for you to get their perspective, and then we will go deeper into what they see as trends and what they would like to do with tour operators. What do you want to start, Inge, Sabina? I see. Inge, you want to start? The floor is yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna share my screen. I hope it's visual for everyone.
It's perfect.
Okay. I'm Inge Maasbrom from Visit Antwerp. For those who don't know Antwerp, we're situated in the northern part of Belgium. We're the second biggest city of Belgium. We call ourselves a metropolitan on a human scale. Why? We have about 529 inhabitants, but more than 170 nationalities living on 205 square kilometers. We are a culture hub, we are a fashion hub, we are a culinary hub. We have more than 11 Michelin star restaurants in Antwerp and 71 gourmet restaurants in Antwerp. Our port of Antwerp is the second biggest in Europe and the second biggest in the world for petrochemics. And we are, of course, the diamond capital for trading. So we like to say that we are a little hidden gem to be discovered for those who haven't discovered it yet. Being halfway our legislation, we did an evaluation of our strategy last year, and we came to some conclusions during those evaluation. We evaluated together with our partners, private and public, and the conclusion of that evaluation made us refine actually our role as a DMO to reach our goal, and our goal is actually to improve our touristic market position, of course, as so many other destinations. We included some trends and evolutions, living with a pandemic and in a difficult political time worldwide. As mentioned before, it's not easy to look forwards. Still, it's very important to create the foundation for a bright future for target groups in our city, inhabitants, which are the inhabitants, the businesses, the students, and also the visitors. And for our future strategy, and actions, we want to focus on 3 trends that we see worldwide, and that's named credibility, adaptiveness, and participation, which we think is becoming very important in the future. First of all, credibility. In the past, trust was easy built through marketing and promotion, but today we think it's very important to have reliable images and good partnerships to build that credibility towards the traveler. The second one is adaptiveness. As mentioned before, we have to be much more flexible for our visitors. I'm sure that the product doesn't have to change as well, but we do have to become more flexible and adapt much easier for our travelers, because that's the demand that they have nowadays. Participation, we want to participate with our local partners, private and public, but also worldwide with our partners, just to reach these travelers and to show them our destination as we are. There are some touristic trends that we see as well, the long tail tourism. Beside the trends, we also noticed some evolutions. It's important that the international touristic scene changes constantly. We know that, we see that, and but also the needs of our travelers changes, and this means that we have to balance both even more in future, and that's something that we really want to focus on. The industry that is under pressure, which is very important and to take into account if we're evaluating and working on the market. The technology giants that play an important role in future, not only the big brands, but also the smaller brands evaluate and have turned into much more the technology of today, which is a good thing, of course, but we have to keep up with them as well. Cooperation, that's the most important thing that we want to do. It's a conclusion that we made. We want to cooperate with our local partners, and in the bright way. To be honest, it's not only our facilities, but it's also the partners, the public partners that are active in the Department of Mobility, Safety, Urban Development, that have an impact on that experience for the traveler as well. And that's combined with partnerships worldwide with TOs and with intermediaries. I think we can get back to where we were before even the COVID pandemic started. So I hope in a quick note that is what we stand for, and that it's clear what we work on.
Thank you very much, Inger. It's very clear, and from what you said, and what is one of the common points of all the DMO members, is that the DMO nowadays has to be more and more agile. I mean, there is this international touristic scene, and there is also the all the balance and working with the locals. And the DMO is really the key in not only promoting the destination, but managing the destination much more than ever, whether it's with travelers and tourists and locals and of course all the stakeholders. And this is really key. And I'm sure that Sabine, you will easily jump on that as well and give you how this is, give us how this is happening in Madrid. The floor is yours, Sabine.
Thank you very much, Flavie. Hello to everyone. It's a pleasure being here. Yes, definitely there's a lot of keywords which Inge just mentioned, which are they're valid for Madrid as well. I'll present myself. My name is Sabine Schwanz. I'm the Director of Travel, Trade and Connectivity at the City Council of Madrid. The name is German. I'm German, but I'm based in Madrid and working for the company for the last 20 years. So I consider myself a Madrilenian. I'll share a small presentation so you get some impressions here from Madrid and from our strategy we are working on. Hope it's working now. It worked before. Doesn't seem to, right? Is it working? Can you see it? No. Give it another try. Better this time?
Yeah, you have to make it full screen and it will be perfect.
Thank you. Oh, just a second.
Yeah, in the meantime, if you have any questions for any of our panelists, please feel free to put them in the chat. I can see we have many participants also from Libya in Latvia, and then in Athens, in Nuremberg, also from Hong Kong. Thank you very much. We have DMCs in Portugal and Sofia, Bulgaria, hello, Luxembourg. Italy is here with Unico DMC. Hold on. Okay, you can go, Sabine. Yeah.
Thank you, Flavie. So this is just a short overview we are working on from Madrid. There's the big main areas I think most of the destinations nowadays are working on. Obviously, it's a digital transformation. I think that's a key word we all work on, and then the pandemic has forced us to, and we are improving a lot. From our side in Madrid, where we focus as well is the tourist products, so especially the theme today. I'll go into more details later on, but it's basically focusing on the different tourist products, so different lines. We'll be focusing on from the city of Madrid, where we see there's a big potential from both sides, from the city of Madrid, the offer we have here in Madrid, as well from the demand, what is requested from the future visitors. And the other line we are working on is the priority markets. We did as well an analysis with big data and many numbers, having a look what is interesting for us in Madrid, what kind of visitors we would like to have in Madrid. Obviously, sustainability is a big keyword here as well, but we are looking as well on markets which are especially interesting for us from this point of view, but as well from the point of view of the stay, of the overnight stays, the length of the stay, and the consumption in the city of Madrid. And in the city of Madrid, the consumption obviously in the hotel sector, in the classical products. We'll be again focusing a lot as well on the sustainability, because we want the visitors to come to Madrid who are good for our city, for our citizens. So this is priority markets. It's not only markets in itself, but there's a lot of issues we take into account. And the other main area as well is the high impact services. So we are focusing within our company on the departments or in the areas which are giving services to the private sector. So as for example, the Madrid Convention Bureau or the Madrid Film Office, giving support to the local and other players. These are the main areas. Then we're working on different products. That's obviously premium luxury is one of our main products at the moment. You probably heard about Madrid. We had numerous luxury hotels opening and reopening even during the pandemic. We've awarded the Landscape of Light, the World Heritage Site of the big area of the Rio Prado Park. We have a lot of reformations in the city, and so lots of new gastronomic offers. So we are focusing on this premium luxury part. Health sector is important as well. It's not that much on the map of many people, but we have some really high-class hospitals in Madrid. So this is another segment we're working on. History and handicraft, history, World Heritage, the heritage that's, I think it's obvious, Prado Museum and all the offer Madrid has, but again, added into the new tendency, which we saw, is looking into personalized experiences, products which are typical for Madrid, which you can find in Madrid, experiences in Madrid. So this is another line there. We call this partly made in Madrid, but there's some working names there. Gastronomy, I think Spain and gastronomy, nothing to add. I think most of you would know it. And fashion and design, this is maybe another focus wording for what earlier was shopping. Again, as well, we're going into very much into fashion design, going into local offers, Spanish offers, focusing on when you come to Madrid, you should experience and live in Madrid what you only can find in Madrid. So that's another line. And the other thing is sport. I mean, Madrid and sport, think Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. It's clear. Marathon is maybe not that famous. And lastly is education. And that's, again, a mix, because it's education. On the one hand is obviously people coming to Madrid to study Spanish. But we have as well a really high level offer of universities, masters, and this kind of thing. So these are the different lines we are working on, and that we've been focusing with different ways. And basic for all is the public-private collaboration. So that's like this is something we're doing a lot. There are different ways how you can do it. We started a lot during the pandemic with online meetings, basically listening to the private sector. That's our basic, is listening. We are the platform, we are the managing company, put it that way. We are listening to the sector. How can we help? What can we do? Where can we improve? And to get people together on the table, we are organizing tables to listen then. And from there we go into actions. Could be promotional activities, fam trips, sponsorships, but as well associations, combining all the different actors which are belonging into one of these lines I just mentioned. And that was as brief as I could be, just to give you a short resume of what we're doing in Madrid. Thank you.
Thank you. That's brilliant, Sabine, and thank you very much for sharing how you're working from an inside perspective. I have one quick question for both of you. How are you seeing 2022 at the moment, and what are also the perspectives from 23? Our tour operators friend have mentioned that. Can you just in one sentence give us a
excellent from our point of view? Excellent. I mean, we are all we know all the geopolitical situation at the moment, but the numbers in Madrid at the moment are excellent, and they're the outlook as well.
All right, thank you.
The outlook for Antwerp is good as well, as the same as Madrid. We're not there where we were before the COVID pandemic, but we're going into the right direction, which is good. It's looking good actually for Antwerp and Belgium as well.
Yeah, good news. This is also reflected in the different trends that we are seeing from our different partners. I mean, in terms of bookings, generally speaking, whether it's hotels or also flights. This is also very, very important, and that leads us to the next part of our discussion, which is about healthy growth. And basically, I mean, everyone is looking forward to, to be back to results from 2019, but at the same time, we have this ambivalent attitude where we want to reach those levels, but not that beyond, because then, you know, only different challenges linked to over-tourism will reappear again. But now we know, you know, what it looks like, so we can for sure anticipate. So how, you know, would you like both of you, Sabine and Inge, to see group tourism in your destination?
We've been focusing on individual tourists in the past and will be doing so in the future. So we won't focus on group tourism, but we do believe by participating and working together, we'll get lots of individual tourists coming to our city. So there is no big change in our strategy, to be honest, before and now in the future, or in the future.
From our side, it's a bit, yeah, I think a bit the same. We didn't focus that much on group tourists either before, because Madrid is a different, it's a MICE destination and a FIT destination. Talking about group tourism, I think it's the focus is for us is definitely on the premium segment. So groups coming, there are different types of groups, obviously. So we want them to stay here and to stay as long as they can, and the group is not appearing altogether. So we want them to put it that way, to distribute out the city, having the different experiences, and yeah, to be like the co-living with the locals. That's an important part for us as well, and that's why we are focusing that much on the premium part and as well on the experience part, which you usually do in smaller groups, maybe big group coming and then coming to small groups. So that's from our side.
It's actually the same in Antwerp. As Sabine told us, we're focusing on spreading in time and in space more than we're focusing on groups. And the inclusivity of the experience is becoming much more important to get that spread in time and into space.
If I might just ask a question, because I know at least from Madrid, I know that Expat Explore, you definitely are having your groups there, and Pier Giorgio, I'm sure you have as well with the volume you have. So how do you see, and maybe this is Sabine, this is for you. So these groups are coming. They will be there because the demand is there and the itineraries are created, the products are there. How do you see then working together to make it right, to disperse the volume out so it's not going, so you don't have those bottleneck situations? How do you see that?
Yes, what I mentioned before is it's talking and listening to each other and to find the way. I'm sure there is, because the group won't stay together all the time, and there will be a lot of options to give life different opportunities. For us, obviously, we want the groups not only to stay for one night in Madrid because they head off to other areas of Spain. So first of all, we would like them to stay in Madrid for, well, ideally 5 nights, but okay, because all the city destinations have these number, usually the tourists are staying around 2 days in the city. I think this is general all over the world almost. So we are trying to increase that. So that would be our plate to the tour operators to stay longer in Madrid, and maybe give them the option to experience other things which they didn't have on their list, which they might not know beforehand. And it's all about communicating, talking, and find a way. And that's our experience, at least during the last 2 years, that helped a lot to find a common way.
Yeah, I think from our point of view, communication and discussion is certainly the way forward. And that goes to talking between the tour operator and the DMOs to make sure that we come up with solutions for those bottlenecks, to make sure that we find suitable partners, suppliers. We do have sometimes issues in Madrid itself with finding space for hotels and for restaurants. For restaurants that can take larger groups that are, or groups that are maybe on a tighter budget than other places. So yeah, I think communication, collaboration is the way to go, and making sure that even though we might not be premium spenders or spending most number of days there, making sure that we still communicate so that we don't get it like sidelined, or that we don't get in the way, or or that there's still room for both ends of the market. So yeah, we actually got a group coming back to Madrid tonight and another group tomorrow morning. So Madrid's quite a good destination for us today. So yeah, that's what I would like to say. And in terms of the sort of products we offer and the number of nights, it's all driven by demand from our clients. So that's another focus which we need to sort of make sure we collaborate on, is actually, if you want 5 nights, we've got to make sure that we work on the marketing, on the literature, on the demand side, to make sure that clients know that okay, I don't want to go to Madrid for 1 night or 2 nights or 3 nights, I want to go for 5 nights. So it's where we can work on in incentivizing the clients, whether it be through media management or marketing, but to find ways of make sure they want to stay there for that longer period. So yeah, that's my side.
I just would like to add also another point. I don't think that there is a conflict between the objective that Sabine and Inge are looking at. So looking at the FIT or high expenditure clients versus having the groups, because actually traveling in a group, you can really get some benefits, and even the destination can get those benefits, especially because nowadays people are, yes, traveling in a group, but still would like to have their own experiences and to customize their holiday, despite, again, they are traveling maybe on a coach or on a group with a different way of transport. So as I was mentioning the example before with the choice touring, we are trying to do that. So we are offering at the same time maybe 3 types of experiences and excursion included in the package, so that the group gets smaller and people can have this more intimate experience, more linked to their attitude and their expectation. So I don't really see a conflict between working with groups versus FIT. It's just a different target, but still with a lot of benefit at the same time.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Inge, do you have anything to add to this, or you agree with the group?
I agree with both, with Sabine and with the 2 partners as well. I don't think there is a conflict. It's more an attitude that our local partners had in the past towards group tourism, to be honest, which has changed also a bit through the COVID pandemic and through the whole situation worldwide. So even our partners are getting more open to invite groups, and that makes it easier. And it's through conversation that we can make it happen for both, but it doesn't have to be a conflict. I agree. I totally agree with.
Thank you. So I have then another question with that, because as you're saying, it's how do you get your partners as well? They're also getting interested in working with groups, and some of those partners might not be, or tour operators might not be aware of those new partners and those new smaller suppliers. So how do you help with that distribution to get those small unique product suppliers here and there? How do you get them in front of the travel trade? Is that something you do digitally, or how can you? Or it's not just for you, Inge, it's also for Sabine. Yeah.
You mean with our local partners? Yeah, as Sabine does as well in Madrid, we go. We have participation platforms with our partners. We have different platforms. We have platforms where we have where we spread information about what we do, with what are the possibilities, the products, and the marketing actions that we do from the city side on towards our partners. But we also have interactive platforms where we work really interactive together with our partners to see which product, where do you want to, what do we want to tell, how do we want to tell it, which are the target groups we want to focus on, and how are we going to work together to send the message out. So it's on different levels that we want to work together with our partners, and that we do so already. We've been doing that long before COVID, and it's only becoming stronger and more active through COVID and for the future, actually.
It's good to hear there are some positives from this horrendous pandemic we've been through. This and actually probably being on Zoom much more and thinking about it, as Pier Giorgio, as you said as well, actually having time to rethink what are we doing is it has been positive. Yeah, that's good to hear from you, Inge. Any other comments on that topic?
It's just to reaffirm what Inge is saying. It's the same here as well in Madrid. So it's it's things we started with before and has been reinforced by the pandemic. Basically, it's talking and it's finding solutions, and together you get new ideas which you wouldn't have had on your own. So it's with the famous synergy, right? You're doing this, so that's working, and that's the way we do it as well.
That's great. Thank you very much. And I was also wondering, I have a question to Pier Giorgio and then team, how would you, how according to you can, the destination can support you in, creating more diverse experiences? Are those platforms that Inge were mentioning enough, or would, of course, dialogue, as we said, will be helping, but do you see anything else that could, improve this cooperation?
Thank you for the question, Flavie. Actually, yes, I think that the basic is that the operators, contractors, and planners need to know the destination. So I think that the key focus of a destination should be in promoting, in making sure that we are aware not only about the usual tourist product, but what's coming on the market. Just to make you an example, 3 days ago, I came back from Oulu region in Finland. That was a destination that for me was completely unknown. And it surprised me a lot about the destination itself, how beautiful it is, like many other destinations, but especially about the variety of tourist products that they offer and that they presented to us during the trip. Obviously, maybe 60% of the things that I've experienced firsthand are not suitable maybe for my type of clients, but there is still another 40% of activities, excursions, suppliers, hotels, accommodation that certainly I'm now taking into consideration. And we are all happy that with this pandemic, the digital side improved a lot. But reality is that when you experience places and things firsthand, the experience is completely different. And also the know-how and the knowledge and what remains, the vibes that you get from the destination really can push the operator and to find that enthusiasm in adding new destination, adding new products, work towards these to make it happen for their customer. So that's, I think, the key part of the DMOs, not only to promote and attend fairs, but to really make the experience become live for the operator.
Thank you. Tim, do you want to comment on that as well?
Yeah, I need to agree with that. When you really experience a place, then that's when you know if it's going to be the right thing for your clients, whether it's the right thing, but also it sort of gives you that experience, that passion to be able to really funnel it and push it through your product range. So it becomes a lot easier to actually go, yes, it's exactly what we need to do. And you sort of back it. It's like backing a horse, it's like, yes, I want that to succeed. So I think that's a very important part of what's going to be coming out of the next couple of years is more sort of familiarization trips and understanding locations, understanding places. And especially if there's new destinations or new experiences, diversification, which is happening, we need to know those new places, those smaller places, those places which are winning from the pandemic, should we say. We need to understand those a bit more. The places that the DMOs want to promote, they want to be funneling people towards that. We need to hear more about that and less about maybe the bigger destinations, the places that you want us to avoid. We need to be promoting more the parts of towns, the museums, the quarters, the restaurants that you want us to move towards. So it's all about education and incentivization with that. So making that accessible and easy and understood for us. And even if like fam trips aren't available, it's the other information, the other literature, the online resources that you hand out, making that very accessible and easy to understand from a tour operator's point of view is really key, because obviously there's thousands of destinations out there. And if we have to search too hard for the information, or we have to go back phone calls, emails, searching, then that's a bottleneck, that's a block which you need to remove. So which needs to be easy to digest and easy for me to go, yes, I have everything I need, I can progress with this, this is what we're going to do. And especially with some of the things which have happened in recent weeks, we've had to do product amendments and things for itineraries going to Russia, Ukraine, Belarus. We've had to make some decisions in quite quick timelines. So understanding and having access to that information and decision making has to be done quickly. So we can't spend weeks deciding how we're going to divert a tour, how we're going to change an itinerary. It's got to be so that having that information at our fingertips, it's really important. So yeah, so make it easy for me.
Thank you. That was very informative. I can see a lot of nodding around, and I'm sure the audience is also agreeing with that and taking it all in. Before, we would also like to discuss a little bit about different types of destinations. So the big famous destinations, and then also the more secondary destinations. But before we do that, I just have a final question that is also for Per Giorgio and Tim, but Inge and Sabine, please also feel free to comment on that. But Tim and Per Giorgio, if you would like to work with these smaller suppliers, these new suppliers that you're talking about, are there any sort of operational considerations that needs to be taken into account, especially working with groups? Because I know that you both are working with groups that goes up to 50, 51 packs in a group, and that can obviously be complicated. Are there any particular considerations you think are important when getting these small suppliers?
Yes, there are three things according to me: flexibility, flexibility, and flexibility. That is key, especially because like with any relationship at the beginning, you need to create that sort of routine. And to create that routine, you need to understand the point of view of the operator, the type of group, which are the needs, the operational aspects, because we can debate about how many beautiful activities we can have at destination, but reality is that we are moving people around from one place to the other. So accessibility is an issue. Timing is an issue. Our biggest enemy when we have people touring around is time, because we only have certain amount of time in every destination, in every city, despite you can say 5 days, but still the number of hours is that. So I think that going back to the initial part of your question, again, flexibility, I think it's fundamental with a new supplier, because once you get used to it, everything becomes much easier. And also flexibility and communication are, again, the two aspects, because then if you have a good communication line with the supplier, and things go so much better than when you get just stuck into the problem. So we are there to help partners and suppliers to make sure that our clients really get the best out of the destination and the experience.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything you said. So it's, yeah, communication, collaboration, understanding that when we start a relationship, it's a two-way street. We're both learning. We're learning about how they operate and how we operate. So exactly to do with flexibility in terms of sort of group size, time of arrival, how we're going to do it is very, very important. And understanding our needs as a group tour operator for basically what we need. And there's some simple things which we can lay out which prove successful or not successful for that sort of thing. Things like simple things like coach parking on arrival. Make it simple, clean, easy, free. When you get there, toilets, make sure they're numerous, clean, free, accessible. Access walking routes to the sites, making sure that we can get there safely, making sure our coach isn't going to get broken into when it's in the coach park, making sure that people feel welcome and like, wow, this is a place they want to be. So really focusing on that client journey, that client experience from first arrival all the way through. And that brings huge benefits to whether it be that one supplier or a region, because if we get a much smoother transition and it saves us 20-30 minutes on arrival, then we can spend 20-30 minutes longer in a destination. We can spend more time in a restaurant, in a souvenir shop, in a museum, we can spend more money, our clients can have a better enjoyment of the location. So it really brings great rewards. So it's a sort of initial investment for long-term wins for both you and us. So it's sort of understanding what we want and really giving us a reason to join in. Yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Sabine. Inge, yeah, Inge, I can see you are.
If I may add, it's to what Tim is saying. I think we understand that very clearly. That's why we have in our key stakeholders not only our partners from the touristic sector, but we also have our partners from the Department from Mobility, from urban development, just to make that experience total and to make an offer to the partners that is total and good and flexible and everything. So we do understand that it's not an easy development, but we're going that way, and they understand that they have to be a part of the total of the inclusivity of the experience. So, which is a good evolution. And on the other hand, about the flexibility, I think our partners learned that through the past period, that they have to be very flexible, sometimes in a positive way, sometimes in a less positive way. But they do know that they have to be flexible and that they have to be adaptive for the tourists and for their partners. And that's something that we try to work with them and try to support them, to make them adaptive and to give them the tools to do so. So we're working with them as well, and we try to support them as much as possible.
And yes, you mentioned just educational trips or familiarization trips. We're actually doing some educationals for our partners to exactly what you're mentioning now. So it's because it's to adapt to, well, we are kind of the translators, right? We are like the intermediate as a DMO between the local partners and the external partner, put it that way. So we are doing, had some programs, and there's one of the big issues which we are working on at the moment, which will be developing during this year and next year, doing educational, so really seminars to make the partners understand how they should provide the services, where they should adapt, and what they should change. So we all know this, that there's a lot of issues as well with entrance tickets and all these kind of things. So in different countries, I think we're all aware about the different issues. So we're working on different areas, educationals, put it that way, not only for our international partners, but as well for the local partners. So as Inge said, we are aware it's a long way, it's a difficult way, but we're on the way.
Can I just add something to what you just said? Regarding, again, to go back to flexibility, I don't know if also the others and team have experienced that actually COVID increased the structure in certain places that made the flexibility not there any longer, in the sense that everyone is asking nowadays pre-booking, exact timing. Either you arrive at that time or the cancellation, you get a group that is canceled. I mean, instead of making the life of the operator easier and therefore a better experience to clients, I think that a lot of local operators are turning these in a way that I don't think is the right way for the future. I think that we should try to say, okay, COVID happened, we had certain limitation because of pandemic, but now let's try to go back to a new sort of normality. And I'm not saying to go back to 2019, I'm saying to go even in a better way than we were in 2019 pre-pandemic. So that is a very sensible point for me, because I do see these difficulties and that we are facing every day throughout Europe. So I'm not referring to Madrid or any specific destination, but this is becoming a serious issue. On the other point, you mentioned before, Inge, I think the change of the regulations. And so the communication is important when a city change some regulations, because it's true that maybe we are going to have a group tomorrow, in 2 weeks, or in 6 months. But we do plan with 2 years in advance. We are now working on 2024. And whenever city council take a decision to block the traffic, introduce new regulation, new tax, for us as operator becomes extremely difficult, either because means extra cost that we have not budgeted for, or because means that we have to restructure entirely the operation of that tour. And again, one destination is not alone, is part of a much bigger picture of an itinerary, of an entire vacation, of an area, or even multi-country. So the effect that a city is taking, a DMO is taking specifically for its destination might really affect other places and other experiences. So that's something that I wish to express.
We do understand that you plan along before a few months. And that's something while we're working on as well. We're planning a long-term agenda together with our partners, and together with our government, so they know what we're looking forward to from now till 2025. That they know that it's not just something for the coming year, but it's a long-term story that we have to tell, and a package and a product that we have to offer. And it's by communicating and working together and participating that we try to set that agenda and keep it for a few years, so that everyone knows what the deal is and what we're working with.
Thank you very much for this conversation. It's there's a lot of possibilities, I think, for us to work better together in the future. It's that is very clear, and it's good to get all of these potential issues and challenges out as well, so we can kind of take them in advance. So we did mention that we would like to talk a little bit about sort of primary versus secondary destinations. We are running a little bit out of time, but we really would like to talk about it as well, because it goes a little bit hand in hand with the big attractions in a city and then the small experiences. So if I can ask first, Tim and Pier Giorgio, what you're thinking the demand is right now, what you're experiencing when you create products about combining the sort of the bigger cities and then the smaller destinations. If you have any comments on that, Pier Giorgio?
Yes, absolutely. I think that both things should and must exist. Because, as I said at the very beginning of this call, maybe the big destinations or the big cities are the driver for booking, but people really want to experience the smaller destination or less visited ones to get a real feeling and touch firsthand about how people are really living in that destination, which are the amazing attractions that are not known. And I think that in those instances, you can really create those memorable experiences. And that's what people are looking at when booking an holiday. And as I said before, we have launched a series of itineraries, both with Globus and Cosmos. We created a logo for undiscovered tours, and those tours were already very successful before pandemic, and even now the demand is there, and I think that this will increase in the future. But I think that, again, the two things coexist. It's not either one or the other, but it's always a good mix of the two type of destinations.
And I completely agree that they've got to be complementary for one another. It's like one can't exist without the other. For me, I see it almost like a bit of a pyramid. So there's blocks that they build on top of each other to make the whole picture of the tourism scene. So you can't just have everyone flooding to the major attractions without supporting the rest of the network in there. So and we're seeing that in demand from sort of 2019, 2020, all the way through to now. Like, demand for that is growing, for that understanding the local experiences. But I'll be honest, we're still seeing a huge volume of people returning to the key bucket list destinations, for the things that they know that I think they feel safer returning to the main attractions, the main things that they've seen on the TV, and the main things they've seen through social media, and the main place they know. So there's still work to be done in supporting the diversification and supporting that. So creating that demand for people to want to do the smaller destinations, the smaller locations as part of a package. And I think it's our job to get the ratios right, so that it's you're getting that combination of the big attractions, the big sites, the big cities, and smaller places that really supplement that, which maybe they sometimes have greater flexibility than the big cities and the destinations, which have huge capacity management issues. So it's getting a combination of the two, and we are here. Thank you, Carl. We're seeing a combination of both, and like as an example, we were seeing a huge growth towards before recent months towards our sort of products into Ukraine, Belarus, Romania, that sort of area. And that's just, we saw that as a sort of not our major market before, but more demand growing into some of those regions, and into a place in Scandinavia, which wasn't a strong product range for us 5 years ago, but has been growing consistently over the past 5 years or so.
Thank you very much. Inge, Sabine, any comments for that?
Well, from our side, I think we've been, even if we're the main, well, we're the capital of Spain, and there's a lot of tourism only coming to Madrid from a city break version, but we are as well a big hub for Latin America. So this has always been Madrid, and so people would come to Madrid and then do other things. So, and that's, we are doing collaborations with the network of our high-speed trains. So this is as well connecting the major cities with the smaller cities in a very comfortable, sustainable way. So this is one of the focuses as well. I think it's all about communication and getting the information to the clients. There is a large offer. There are a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of products out there, but it's how can we get them out there so people can see them and ask for them. Because we just had a farm trip from Mexico combining Madrid with rather rural areas, and they were just delighted. They just loved it, and they were exploring lots of combinations which we didn't see before. So I think it's again about getting the information out easy to the tour operators and to the client to make things work, which are already there and just had to get together in a way.
Sabine, was that driven by the tour operators setting up the itineraries in the smaller destinations, or was that driven by you as the DMO sort of setting up?
Collaboration between airlines and agencies and many co-workers.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting, because we're seeing quite a large increase in demand from our Latin American client ranges coming into Madrid and doing tours from Madrid. We've even set up a new brand called grouptourshop.com, which is all set up around operating sort of group tours, and a lot of them are doing Latin American Spanish-speaking tours from Madrid. So that demand is growing for us as well. So it'd be interesting to see if we can tie that into what you're saying with the smaller local destinations as well as the larger city breaks.
Look at that. I think the two of you need to have a conversation afterwards. Sounds like there's something on the way here. That's great. Inge, any comments from you?
It's like Sabine says, it's about communicating and collaboration, and it's what we do as a smaller city as well with other smaller cities, not only in Flanders, but also in Europe. We try to work together and promote each other together, because we know that they don't stay in Antwerp for 5 days. We wish they did, but they don't. So we need to work with other cities, and we try to work together to come to different cities in 5 days. Is it Flanders? Is it Belgium? Or even further away with the Netherlands or France or our neighboring countries. So we do know that we have to work together and to collaborate.
Thank you. I think we're reaching the end of the webinar now, but I would like to first of all say thank you to everyone participating, and Flavia, I'm sure you also would like to say a word or two. But before that, as you saw in the beginning, and also what Flavia mentioned in the beginning of the webinar as well, we have that event for you. As you might know, we have City Fair coming up in a few months' time, which is about collaboration between destinations and products and destinations with the tour operators, with the buyers, both FIT, group, MICE, everything. So please, if you're interested, come here, because that's where you can get these good discussions about how your destination, what sort of new products there are there, and for the operators, you can come and find out what is going on when you're creating new products. Flavie, is there anything you would like to mention as well?
Yeah, I just put the link directly on the City Fair page so that the people interested can have easy access. Yeah, no, basically, I mean, all that we said during the last hour comes to trust, communication, flexibility, and of course, COVID has changed a little bit things and has, you know, put us back to basics, because these are basics, but still, nevertheless, very, very important. And so we take on all those messages, and we will try to, you know, as well keep our members aware of, you know, the importance of communicating the changes, the regulation happening in their city to the tour operators. And basically, everything is back to the DNA, actually, to you know, what makes up the city, what makes up is soul and atmosphere. And there is a lot of work, you know, for the GMOs to make that maybe more clear. And so yeah, as we all said, communication and flexibility on both sides will help us. And yeah, if you want to continue those discussions with all the tour operators, City Fair is undoubtedly the best place to do that. And the online format also makes it easy for the European DMOs to meet with Chinese and also American tour operators. So please, yeah, register for that. I think the early bird is until mid-April, right?
I think you're right. That's it will be on the website exactly which date that is, but there is still a little bit of time. Yes.
Perfect. And we are also planning another webinar together with ETOA and Nextdoor by the end of April. So stay tuned. You will receive the news for that, and we will be happy to continue our successful collaboration between ECM and ETOA. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, of course, to all the panelists for you know, participating and sharing your experience. And thank you to the numerous participants who were there with us today. And see you soon then.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.